Hello, I'm Vicki Leroy with Modern Jewelry Creators. Thank you for joining me today. On today's video, we're going to be doing a full tutorial to make this gorgeous pendant necklace from start to finish. So generally on this channel, I don't do a lot of full tutorials because they're quite long. I have them available on our website. I'll show a lot of different individual techniques and different products and designs and ideas and all sorts of jewelry making magic. But today I'm going to do a full tutorial for this piece, and it shouldn't take too long. It's not terribly difficult, but there are some very specific techniques for her that I want to show. So if you're new to the channel, again, my name is Vicki Leroy. Thank you for joining me. I hope you'll consider subscribing if you love making jewelry and seeing new designs all the time. Okay, so this design kind of started. I wanted to make something using that gorgeous satin pendant, this little leaf kind of scroll pendant. Here she is in gold, not pretty. And we also just got in 3 new chain designs, the pretty sparkly chain things, and I can link these all below as well, though you can use, anything you have will be similar. So there's 2 different chain designs here, and then another one here I used as like a little tassel dangle thing in the front. So I have to set her down so I have a free hand. But let me show you the chains real quick. So the one I used for the little tassel is this pretty ball chain. Isn't she gorgeous? And then the other 2 little necklace ones were this little kind of oval kinked chain, and then this little bar link or bar weave thing. Is she pretty? So I just think these are lovely. They're all under $3 a foot. Really pretty. They come in gold as well. Oh, gorgeous. If you're not familiar with our products, we only use the best quality materials. These are really heavy plated, made in USA, nickel lead free, tarnish chip resistant. So excellent quality materials. So you can make beautiful modern jewelry without spending a fortune. Okay, so I'm going to tip the camera down in just a second so you can see what I'm doing, and to do the ends, and then I'll tip it back up and put the necklace on a little stand so we can do the front piece there together. So a couple things. One other thing about my channel, or if you're not familiar with my work, I don't like wasting product. So I'm using pieces of chain I have left over from other projects for this tutorial, just to show the sample. They're very equally as sparkly and equally as lovely. Here's a little mirror link, so that's one I'm going to use, and then another little oval faceted link, which is really pretty, and then I'm going to use that same pretty ball chain for the front tassel part. Now let me show you this again. A couple things. So right, in order for both of these chains to show up, this inside one is slightly shorter than the outside one, so that they hang separately so you can see them. If they were the same length, they would lay on top of one another and probably get twisted and tangled and stuff. So I love the way this looks. It almost gives like a nice almost framing or balance to the piece, and you can see both chains. This is about 24 inches long. You could do it shorter. I think the longer kind of lends itself nicer balance-wise for the leaf pendant and the little tassel, but you could definitely do it shorter. The demo sample I'm going to make today will be a little bit shorter so that you'll be able to see it when I'm making it. But that's it. So, and you can really use any chains you like. I just think it's a fun way to showcase some pretty ones. Okie doke. I'm going to tip the camera down. So the first thing we're going to do is get the lengths of the chains correct and add the ends on to them so that they stay in place. And one thing about chain that doesn't have open links, like this little mirror chain and the bar chain I showed before, there's no link to hook into. So we need to put a little crimp on the end so that we can attach to it. So I'm going to tip the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. We're very low tech around here. Sorry. And I did a little navy over the white so that you'd be able to see hopefully what I'm doing. So we're going to start with 2 ends. There's our link, and then there's the mirror weave that we need to put a crimp on the end. So there's our little cordon crimp. We use this also for leather cord or anything that doesn't have, you know, a loop or a link on it that we can hook into so that we are able to. So first thing, I'm going to cut this chain. I don't want to crimp over the mirror. I mean, you could, but I'm going to just trim that a little so that I really have as much of the woven part to crimp onto as possible. Then to put this or to attach it, you're going to need a crimping plier. There's really no other plier that will work as well, right? It has the two little oval stations at the top that kind of looks like lips there. You're going to take the crimp and place it in the top station of the crimping plier and kind of center the crimp in the top station of the plier. That loop is facing out and the open side is up on that crimp. And then I'm going to take the chain and drop it into the crimp to crimp it and attach it. This is the only way that works. There's no amount of laying this down, trying to lay this in here and pick it up. It's not going to work. You'll make yourself crazy. So you want to place the crimp in the crimping plier. I'm centering it. I'm just hanging onto it with the right tension so I'm not squeezing it yet. Loop side down, dumping or putting the chain in. And then once she's in there, I'm squeezing it. And I'm going to squeeze up and down the whole crimp until she's attached. And now I have a loop on the end. Ta-da! Just that easy. Sometimes it takes a little bit of practice, but works just like that. Works really beautifully on like leather cord and things like that. Okay, so next thing is I'm going to attach those two ends together with a jump ring. I'm going to go ahead and put the clasp on since I'm right here already doing it. So let's attach the link and then through that loop, and then before I close it, I'm going to put I'm just using a lobster claw. You can use any kind of clasp you want on this. And I'm going to do extension chain on the other side. That's why I'm doing a lobster claw on it. Okay, so that's that end all together. So then we want our inside chain, which for me is going to be the little mirror link. It really doesn't matter. I try to use maybe whichever link has like the heavier look to it on the outside. I think that's a nice balance. Even though these are pretty equal, the mirror one is a slightly lighter. So I know you can't see the whole thing, so I'm trying to kind of hold it even out here so that I can figure out exactly where to cut her. Okay. There we go. So I do want the outside one longer, but not that much longer. That's too long. So it really just needs to be like a smidge, like a 1/4 of an inch or so, like just not much. Let's cut off. So we'll cut off like 3 of those. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and attach those together with the other jump ring and a little extension chain. You don't have to use the extension chain. It's totally optional. I just think if you are already using like a hook clasp on the other end, that you might as well put that extension on it so that you have adjustable links when it comes to wearing the piece and being able to have it hit, you know, perfectly for whatever neckline you're wearing. It's also a good use of your other chain remnants if you have like a larger, you know, open link that'll work, then by all means, it's a great way to use that chain up. Okay, so there we go. I have two ends attached with the crimp and the jump rings. One has the lobster claw and the other has the chain. like I said, but you can use any kind of clasp that you like. So I think I'm going to go ahead and attach the pendant here while we're down here, and then we'll tip it up. Okay, so you can use jump rings if you want. I like to use these little textured links. I think they're prettier. Anytime you're using a jump ring and you're going to see that jump ring, I think it's nice to use something a little fancier. So these links are very pretty. They just open, and you can use them in place of jump rings. However, they're not jump rings. You can't sit and open, and you can't open, close, and open, close them because you'll weaken the metal eventually. But just to open and close it, you know, once or even a couple times, that's totally fine. Okay, we are attached. So I am going to now hook this onto, I'm going to hook the clasp in the back, and then I'm going to put it on this little stand and bring it up for you to see. 2 seconds. So you'll be able to see what we're doing. Oh, I need to tip the camera up, don't I? Let's tip that first. Let's do that first. Let's go for a little ride. Ta-da! Okay, here we go. That's not so bad. Okay. Let me bring this up. So let me scoot this up a little bit and hook this up. Okay. There we are. So like I mentioned before, I like this a little bit longer, but I want it shorter so you could kind of see what you could see it in the camera too. So we've got that all hooked up. I think this outside one might be a little too long still. It's kind of a little too much length, but you can adjust that. It's easy to, you know, adjust. The one with the link, we would just cut it a little bit. That's why it's better to be very kind of cautious when you're cutting it, because you can always cut it down shorter. Okay, so now we just need to add that cute little tassel in the front. And I'm just using this little ball chain, and I've got about 1 foot of it here. I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to place one piece through that large chain, or the link in the front. That's another reason why it's nice to have that large link there. Then I'm going to tie this in a knot, just a little knot. And it's not going to necessarily like hold very well. So we can't, that's not like how you secure it, but it is how we're going to first put it on here, and then I'll show you how we secure it down. A knot of chain won't stay. It'll just loosen, you know what I mean, over time. And I'm going to do the other piece. Okay. Sorry, it's so hard for me to do this so you can see it, so I can see it. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tie this one in a little knot. Okay. And put all front. So if we just left it like this, it would eventually loosen, right, and just come off. So it's not staying like that, but it is just the way I'm going to initially attach these pieces. And I like that it makes this kind of heavy looking kind of knot thing up there. Okay, then to secure it, we use a material called Supplemax. It's an illusion cord. It's not fishing line. Supplemax is made by Bead for the beading industry. This fishing line gets brittle and breaks. This does not. It's very malleable, beautiful, completely transparent. Fishing line is tinted. Been in business a long time. I've heard everything. Sorry. So, okay. So I've cut a little piece off here. Hard to see maybe. It's like 6 inches, 9 inches all I'm going to do with her is come behind. I'm going to pick up the chains. You can kind of see them. And pick up the chains. I'm going to tie the supple max in a knot right under the little chain knot I made. I'm going to do it once and do it twice. And that holds. The knots in the supple max hold beautifully, actually. Then I'm going to cut off my tails of supple max. We are almost done. And that's it. That holds. That stays. Nothing else to do. No glue. Nothing. You could put a dollop of like clear nail polish on that supple max knot if you wanted to. It's very small though, and very secure. Another thing you could do is even weave it through the chain if that, made you feel better about it being more secure. But I promise it's not going anywhere. That is tied under the chain knot that we made. So the last thing I'm going to do is cut these dangles at different lengths. So that's just an aesthetic thing, right? So there's 4 tails, and because this chain has little like balls and then the twisted part, I want the ball to be kind of at the bottom, but then I want them all to be at different lengths as well. So, and you can always go shorter. So I always, like everything, kind of recommend being cautious at first. I'm going to cut one of these a little bit shorter. There. Now, they're all 4 of those little tails are dangling at, or hitting at different places. So it looks a little more full and really darling. I think that's beautiful. And there she is, just gorgeous. And that's your full tutorial. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. If you're not already, leave a comment down below. Say hello. I would love that. And I hope you will join me back here again for another tutorial or our new kits and designs and things next time. And until then, please sparkle brightly like the star that you are. Mwah! Peace.